I personally, I'll be honest with you, I have some issues with forgiveness. There's a few names that if you mentioned those names, like as soon as you said the name, I would think a negative thought. You could say a certain name and some animosity would begin to kind of seep into my heart and into my mind. A lot of you know the story of Kiwan and Trey Trey. And they're my two little buddies from Chicago who got to come see us and get to talk to them. Trey Trey turned 9 this past Thursday. And anyway, there's a really special place in my heart for those two boys through our mission trip to Chicago and through our times there, that God is just, they're always on my mind and in my heart. And just the really quick story of their life is that when Kiwan was 5 and Trey Trey was 2, their dad walked into their apartment and shot and killed their mom with both of them on the same bed. And they experienced that brutal, awful murder. Their dad, I believe this is correct, did a whole 9 months in prison for that murder before he got out. And when you talk about Kiwan and Trey Trey's dad, I don't have good thoughts. And it's quite the opposite. In fact, I can't remember how long it was ago, maybe about 9 months ago or so, Sarah James, who cares for them a lot, and if you go to Chicago, you'll meet Sarah. She called me one day and she said, "Brian, you won't believe what happened." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Kiwan and Trey's dad was in a really bad fire, and they don't know if he's going to make it." And I'll be honest with you, the first thing I thought was, yeah, that serves him right. And to be honest with you, I've always been scared that he's going to try to get back in the picture, because you know how the courts work. Anything could happen, and I would be afraid that he could get custody of the boys or something like that. I've always been afraid of that. And I thought maybe, the world would be better off if he was dead. And I got to tell you, that's about as ungodly of a thought as a person can have. But that was the thought that I had. It ends up that he actually died and was brought back to life. I mean, actually pronounced him dead and then back alive again, and made somewhat of a recovery. But I have this issue, you see, with forgiveness in my heart. And I have a feeling that I'm not the only one here who does. My guess is that a few of you are struggling with forgiveness as well. My guess is that some of you have this forgiveness issue with mom or dad, and you're hanging on to stuff and you just can't forgive them for it. Some of you probably have a forgiveness issue with a boyfriend or girlfriend or a former best friend, and you just can't let it go. It's still bothering you. Some of you have this forgiveness issue with a brother or a sister. Some of you can't forgive an adult in your life that let you down. I know how much teenagers often look up and kind of idolize an adult. And we blow it sometimes too, and some of you guys have been hurt by that. My guess is that some of us here have never forgiven God just for our life. You feel like you got the short straw in life, and you're angry at God for things in your life, and you blame Him, and you won't forgive Him. And I bet you that there's some of you, the biggest forgiveness problem that you have is with yourself. You won't forgive yourself, and you figure there's no way that God would ever forgive me. And you see, when we have these forgiveness issues, problems, man, it hardens our hearts. It becomes an excuse for poor behavior. When you can't forgive people, you end up treating others poorly. You may end up with stress, sleepless nights, and physical effects, actually. The bitterness rubs off on other people. You can often tell when you're around someone who has forgiveness issues, because there's this bitterness that comes off on everybody else. It's really easy to lose focus. You feel distant from God and distant from others. When you can't forgive someone, here's the weird thing. Do you know who's in control of your life? That very person you can't forgive. You're no longer in control even of your own life. Because that person, you're always thinking about them, you're always mad about them, you're always trying to prove them wrong or to outdo them or to prove something to them. And it ends up being that person that you can't forgive who ends up controlling your own life.